depressed. It's also hot as hell here. It's nice when it's really hot and you are going through perimenopause. That's a nice comment because like you're not sweaty enough at night, you know what I mean? So let's just like make it 100 degrees and live in a 30s apartment that has no AC. Fucking yeah. I know. I did eyeliner. I was like, oh, hello, makeup. I got my hair washed for you. This is not what I looked like earlier in the day. You were like, well, let's do a vlog. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I was like, my hair was in this ratty ponytail that had been like for a week. You know what I mean? Oh, look at my, can you see? I put Neosporin. You can't really see it. You can't really see my.
A little bit. Oh, it looks so much better from the last picture that I saw, though.
Ooh, it's still, I overdid it yesterday. I was like, it's a 28-pound of litter. It'll be fine. And I picked it up and my hand was like, go fuck yourself, girl. And I was like, oops. So anyway, I thought we had an important message. And so, you know, we show up, we fucking suit up and show up no matter how we feel. So
that's right. Well done. Right on, babe.
Yeah, I was like, put some eyeliner on and fucking make it happen. So here I am.
I feel like that's a slogan. That's like that should be like
right?
Just right there.
Shut the
put
fuck
some
up
eyeliner on and make it happen.
Right? Shut the fuck up and put some eyeliner on. Yeah, depression, but make it sexy because everyone's over your shit. So you've got to like. It's really funny. I was like, because I don't ever smile. Not that I have bad teeth, but I'm not a smiley person. You're like, look, you're smiling now. I don't ever smile. I'm not like really a smiley person.
I can't stop smiling.
I'm dark and dead inside. What?
I don't know why I can't stop smiling.
I know, look at you. Like, what a freak. Whatever. Okay. Because you live in Paris? No, I didn't smile when I lived in Paris. It was miserable.
Oh no! But
I stepped in dog shit every day is what I did when I lived in Paris, and French men were really mean to me because I didn't speak good French.
But actually, French people think that you're dumb if you smile a lot. So I don't know why Benjamin likes me anyway. But there you go. He's like,
yeah. You've always been smiley though. I've known you for years. You've been smiling. So yeah, I think it's funny that I'm like, let's do 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Let's go. And you're like, bitch, you can't even stick to like 3 minutes a day. Like, let's do 3 minutes for like a week and then we'll see. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm just so overzealous and like, I just don't. Yeah, I was at the neurologist and it was an hour and a half wait. And I'm just in the waiting room and I remembered I hadn't meditated. And so I set a timer right there and I just closed my eyes and I just thought, fuck it, I don't get her. And like, also like, yeah, now you're one of those assholes that used to make fun of, you know, even I always made fun of those people who meditated in public, always. Like in meetings and stuff or anywhere where people would be like, I was like, oh, how pretentious. And there I was like, oh, karma's a bitch, girl. You know what I mean? And I didn't like get in the lotus and like do, you know, I wasn't like.
You didn't?
But, no.
And maybe next time.
But anyway, I was like, oh, fuck, she's going to be on me. And just as I opened up WhatsApp to send you a text and say, I just meditated. You're like, how's the meditation going? And I was like, get out of my head. Like, for real. Like, get your cameras out of my fucking house. Like, what are you doing? It's creeping me the fuck out. And today I realized it was, you know, it's 4:00 and I was like, you didn't do it. I was like, you can still do it. Let's do it. So I did it.
Well done.
Yeah. Well, depression is part of me. It's not going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And at least I know, you know, I'm at a place now. I'm old enough and I have the tools to not do anything super stupid. But I did tell you I had a moment this week where I was really depressed and I wanted a lift. I wanted a dopamine hit. And I was like, I'm going to contact that guy who was really mean to me, who doesn't like me and thinks I'm crazy and was mean to me, and see if he'll give me a little attention. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind, dude? No, you're not going to do that. And then I confessed it to you. But I mean, I just saw it for what it was. It had nothing to do with him. It had to do with me looking for something to get out of me and something to lift my mood. Same reason that I had relapsed recently on vaping. And then I stopped again. And then picked it up again. And then stopped again. And then picked it up again and stopped again. thinking, oh, well, this gives me a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's all escape. And what's so awesome, Amy, is that because you've stuck with it and you've stayed conscious and you've continued to tell on yourself and you've continued to engage, like you can see the patterns now.
oh yeah.
Right. And so when it happens, it's really obvious, and you can either choose to continue that or choose to do things differently. But even more than that, like I see you more and more often choosing to do things differently, choosing to
Thank
do
you.
what's going to be
Well, it's
best for
kind of
you.
getting old. I got to tell you, and the
Yeah.
other day I woke up and I was depressed and I was like, okay, I don't really give a fuck if you're depressed, Amy. Like, we have work to do. Like, I'm moderating a book question, a Q&A with this amazing writer that I blurbed her book, and I need to read her book and come up with questions. And I was like, so I spent the whole day reading her book, just quiet on the couch, and I was like, I felt better because I'd been productive. You know what I mean? Instead of just like, taking depression naps and whatever. So I was like, just do something. So, no, I want different results. I've been stuck in some patterns for a long time, and I'm just like, I'm done. So,
Yeah. And this, I feel like the withdrawal took a little longer
ooh,
than maybe we
oh,
hoped it would. And
oh,
yet you've come out the other side,
I
to,
never have been able to do that. Okay. That was the reason I never, ever stuck with slaw or despond. I mean, I could not go through the withdrawal. It was too, I think, to be honest, I mean, I was going through a divorce and a criminal trial, and I was getting sober at the same time. It was like a little bit much. Like, I needed some outlet. And it was so unbearable. And, well, it's easy to go through withdrawal during a pandemic.
right. But lots of people
I'm sure
didn't,
people were
babe.
fucking during the pandemic, and I know
Yeah.
like what dating websites just like exploded. But like, I watched this like scary like murder on the internet. It was like all like dating like a Tinder in the UK, and they all these women ended up dead. And I was like, fuck me. So, um, I got my ass kicked enough, to be honest. I got really tired of picking the wrong people and the same people, the same wrong people. And even my coworkers are like, "You're needy." I'm like, "Okay." Even my cat is like, "God, get off me." Like, I'm like, I gotta fucking work on this. And but we had some crazies. We had some weirdos appear, and I asked you to how to handle it because I'm really bad at boundaries, and I feel I don't like to hurt people's feelings. And anyone who shows me any attention in general, I kind of like, is this my person? Like, they like me. And as you get older too, you're feeling like the window is closing and closing. You know what I mean? You're like, well, like, I didn't used to have like crinkly skin, you know what I mean? If you like a certain, like, you get in a certain angle and like things like crinkle up, do you know what I mean? You're like, ew, like, what is that creepy weird? Like, I never had that. Like, looking at other people's hand, like women's hands, being like, their hands are so young. And I was like, okay, creepy. Like, okay, Buffalo Bill, like, you know. Um, so I mean, I'd heard people say this, and I was like, well, that's nice for you. Like, that's never gonna be, well, I'll never get there. Um, I'm not jaded, but I don't think that love is gonna fucking fulfill my life and make me whole, make me happy. Like, now I'm kind of like, I'm 51, and I'd really like to write a second book, and I'd really like to sell the series, and I'm really enjoying the podcast, even though, we got to, even Joe and I want to kill each other half the time. We're creating a really great product. And we just did a 1 year anniversary, and it's helping a lot of people, and that's cool. And so, um, I really don't have that same feeling like, I need this to make my life complete. I need this to make me feel okay about myself. Like, I don't feel like that. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I want my cat to live. I want my hand to heal properly. I want to fucking, be financially solvent. I want to be a good friend. I want to stay sober. I want to, write my second book and be, productive. And if someone comes along and wants to be part of that and has their shit together, you know, great. But I will never ever make someone my fucking higher power in my world again. Because when you give someone the power to make you happy, you give them the power to make you unhappy. And, you know, it's, you know, not only is it unhealthy and you're needy, but it's just like, I see that someone will come in and they'll be an adjunct, but they're not going to be the epicenter of my fucking life again. Because then when they walk away, you have fucking nothing, you know? And it's like, I'm not ever putting myself in that position again. But I also just I don't know, I've been alone and celibate for a long time now. And it's like, it's not the worst thing in the world. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Like, I have amazing friends, you know? I have people that love me all over the world because I wrote a book that was like, made them feel like less of a piece of shit about themselves. And it's like, I'm okay with it. And it feels like, I can't even tell you the relief. It feels like being free from addiction. It feels like being free from the craving, instead of like every person is a possible option. You're always on the hunt and looking, and there's a piece of you missing. Like, it's not even on my fucking radar. Like I told you, I had a meeting with someone and I was like, ooh, you know, and the old thinking popped up and I was like, I'm gonna marry him and move there. And I was like, chill the fuck out, dude. Yeah. And then it went away. I never thought about him again. And I was just like, okay, you know. So it feels like freedom. I can't describe it as any other. It's just such a fucking relief, because this has been running my life since I can remember. I mean, I was obsessed with Rob Lowe when I was, you know, fucking 15, and was convinced we were soulmates, and was like delusional, like super delusional. And
I feel you on that one.
You know, like I thought I saw signs everywhere, and like he's, you know, like it was like, oh my God, it was like super. And you know, most of my relapses have been around relationships, breakups.
Right.
And
right.
I was a sex addict and a love addict, and it was fucking gnarly. And I feel like that's even behind my substance abuse to a certain extent, is not feeling whole and that kind of stuff. So this feels, and I hope it's not just a fleeting thing, but it feels like, oh, like you're just not in withdrawal and jonesing out anymore. Like I really am kind of like, like open to it. I'm open to it, but I'm not actively searching for it, if that makes sense.
100%, babe. I mean, this is it, you know. And what this indicates to me is that at this point we're ready to move into the third stage, which is rebuilding. So now
I
you
just got
have
anxious, even just that idea. I mean, I think that I've been sort of out of the game for so long. I'm kind of terrified. You know what I mean? It's like when I was in sober living for 2.5 years and moving out, I was like, oh, like, am I going to shoot Jack Daniels and fuck strangers again? Like, what's going to happen? Oh, you know, but
I'll be right here with you.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with the person, be like, hey man, I've been out of the pool for a while. So like, let's, you know, and obviously, you know, taking it slow, considering my history, because as I know, all those things still exist within me. The ability to become instantly infatuated and obsessed, and, you know, 0 to 100 and all that shit. And I don't want to be there again. It's such an uncomfortable, painful place to be like waiting for someone to text you. It's just like, oh, you know, like fuck that noise.
Yeah, it's the worst. So,
and I finally am over my ex. So it's like that took fucking 4.5 years and a conversation, a text conversation to, you know, go like, oh, you're a garbage person. Got it. Okay, good. Not change at all. Okay, cool. Okay.
And scene.
Yeah, right.
So,
it feels, but it also, I mean, there was a thrill to the chase of it. So that stuff exists within me. Sometimes it can get like triggered, just like my addiction. It can get triggered, you know, even on, you know, I really miss vaping. And when I see people vaping on meetings, I'm like, you know, please fucking turn your can, like, oh, I mean, it's so dumb and it's so bad for you, but God, I fucking love it so much. I love it. But
Yes.
yeah, there's also no excuse to not do the work now that's in front of me in terms of like the second book and like, preparing for this chick's thing. And, you know, there's a lot of drama that's removed.
Exactly. And it's that same thing of when you give up drugs and alcohol, suddenly you have so much more time to do all of these things that you've always wanted to do and that you love and that fill you with joy. And it's the same thing because you're not obsessing over a guy, which many times is a addiction that replaces the other addictions, the drugs and alcohol. And
that was my experience. I mean, I went straight into sex and love addiction in my early recovery, and then, I don't know that it ever really went away. And then I became sort of sexually anorexic after my breakup and sort of withdrew and sort of then just kept picking emotionally unavailable people to sort of, have little, entanglements with that were incredibly painful.
mm-hmm.
I'm really not down for any more pain. I'm kind of like over the pain thing.
Right on. Good for you, babe.
I mean? I'm just like,
So we can move into this phase of rebuilding now, which, I like to talk about doing from the inside out and also from the outside in. And so what I mean by that is from the inside out, we do the IPF. So we'll start doing that together, which is the Ideal Parent Figure Protocol, which you and I have talked about. So it's basically a guided meditation that's going to help you to create a new internal working model from which to make healthier choices. And then we'll also do from the outside in, which is where we create a plan for you so that by the time we get there, which, we can take
I just had so much fear. I'm so sexually anorexic and emotionally anorexic. I mean, I couldn't shave, granted, I could not shave the whole month that I was recovering from the surgery. And when I finally did, yikes. It was so fucking, I was like, whoa, dude. But then I was like, fuck it. I got, who's going to be upset? The Colonel? Like, fuck it. Yeah, I feel frightened. I've been hurt a lot. I'm not gonna lie, and I just also, I know I can't sleep around without an emotional connection, and I'm just not interested in that. That's not what I'm interested in. I'd just like rather not. I just, I don't know if it's perimenopause or stress or the heat or whatever. I have no sex drive at all. Everyone's like, "Are you fucking flicking the bean?" I'm like, "Ew, gross." Like, no, I'm not. Like, I mean, and it's just not. But I know that women are triggerable, so I know, and it's happened because I went on that date with that person a couple of years ago, and because I was attracted to him, I was like turned on. So it's like it's just in sort of hibernation. It can be triggered.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%, and that's something that we can work on as well. Again, because the truth is, even when you're in a relationship, like your sex drive is your sex drive. You being turned on is not your partner's responsibility or anybody else's responsibility. That's for you, and it's your, and it's your responsibility. Like we talk about with recovery, whatever is going on, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Right.
So it's the same thing when it comes to sex is whatever's going on with you, you can have some agency around that and you get to make the choice, babe. So, for some people it's super important and for other people it's not that important, but you'll have an experience of it and we'll do some exercises together so that you have an experience so that you can make a conscious choice about that. Because really,
I don't think I've ever been healthy in that area. I was super, I wanted to have sex all the time when I was in this relationship. And when he didn't feel like it, if I was, to me, that was like incredibly important for the bond, to feel bonded. It was a way of acceptance, it's a way of connection. And then I've also, used sex, as a drug in the past, and had sex with people I didn't really care about or know or didn't like, and just to get validation or get out of myself or whatever. And then I've had periods, not just now, but in my 20s too, where I just was like totally celibate for years. And when people know me for my sex addict stuff, they're like, I can't even imagine that. I was like, Yeah, but it's all the same thing. It's all fucking extremism. It's it's the absence of moderation, which is addiction. It's the
Exactly.
same. I mean, why is that surprising? You
Yeah,
know?
it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, it's
It's
exactly the same
exactly that.
thing. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, to me, it doesn't surprise me because I see it in everything I do. Either I'm doing it 100% totally, or else I'm not doing it at all. Everything.
Right, exactly. So that's why the first step in rebuilding is about exploring your wants and your needs, both in terms of love and sex, and what really feels good for you. And not because it's going to keep the other person coming back, because it's what feels good for you. And that's it.
Yeah, that's the huge shift. Not sort of thinking about like, how do I hook this person or how do I make them like me? And people don't assume that I'm like that, but in relationships, I'm very much like, I want you to like me. I think everyone wants to be liked. I mean, even when I'm like, fuck you, and pretend I don't, suck a dick, da da da, that's still me wanting you to like me, but pretending I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just a mask.